Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ladies Night. I'm your co-host, Abna Agbeku. I'm greeting you from Africa. We have a great show for you tonight. Lady Dim and I will be talking about how violence affects black women, something that has been overlooked in this country. I would like to thank all my brothers and sisters from America for supporting us here at the E Nation and the Ebony Star Network. Now, here is our host, Lady Jane.
Thank you, Ebony. Hi, everybody. So, I guess you're curious about intersectionality. Put simply, intersectionality is the concept that all oppression is linked. According to the Oxford English Dictionary, defines intersectionality as the interconnective nature of social categorizations such as race, class, and gender, regarded as creating overlapping and interdependent systems of discrimination or disadvantage. Intersectionality is the acknowledgement that everyone has their own unique experience of discrimination and oppression. We must consider everything and anything that can marginalize people, gender, race, class, sexual orientation, physical ability, etc. For example, white men have more power and unearned privilege than white women based on systematic oppression supported by patriarchy, sexism, and misogyny. Now, based on anti black racism, black men have less power and unearned privilege than white men, but because of sexism, they have more unearned privilege than black women. Even though they experience sexism, white women have more power and unearned privilege than black women due to anti black racism. Now, this is my example of how black women are are at higher risk for violence because of this. Okay, give an example. White woman, black woman turns missing. Suspect foul play. White woman scattered her information scattered all across social medias. She's all over the news around the country. Uh, uh, um, But black woman, she is lucky if she's in the news for a few days right there in her community or in her town or she's a big state. And then if um if she's if she's beyond just the local area, she has to be doggone near perfect and very highly regarded, to be put up there. So whenever a violent crime happens, it's more than likely to happen to black women because we are not as protected, we're not as valued.
Yeah, this is the
Mhm.
case that violence happens to black women because the black men are not supporting their women and they leave their women astray and they sell out their women. So instead of black men have to support the black women, they are not doing that. That's why now we have violence inside black women. And here is the case: the white men support or they protect their white women, especially. Why is that black men are not doing that, protecting the black women, and they leave and they sell out their black women? That's why you don't even normally hear when there's a violence, you don't hear it in the news where there's a black woman. Yeah, because the men that they have to support the women to announce or to stop this violence, the men are not doing that. They are rather selling out their women out. That maybe we saw
Well,
you wearing this dress here and there. That is not the case. Why are you not protecting your woman?
let me jump in there real quick. You know, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's funny you said something about black women being in the news. Well, they are in the news. They seem to be in the news more than white women when it comes down to violence against black women. They put that all over the news. Every time you turn around, there's a black woman being attacked or a young black girl being raped, or right. And then you have the black men who are sellouts, like Abner said. They try to find a way to blame the black woman for being a victim of lunatics and maniacs, right? So we had a guy in here earlier. We did a podcast earlier talking about black women are going hard for white men, right? Well, we got evidence that that's not true. We see black women going hard for black men all the time. But here's my problem with what was said. Where are the black men going hard for black women? When Corin Gaines was murdered over a traffic ticket, and I have my own opinion of why the cops showed up at a house. I mean, it's kind of weird that 3 police officers show up at your house for a traffic infraction. I've never heard of anything like that. But anyway, she gets murdered in front of her children. I didn't hear any black men going hard for her. I didn't hear any black men get out there and protest. I didn't see a bunch of black men get signs that said Black Lives Matter or Black Women Lives Matter. I didn't see none of that. But you see, when George Floyd was murdered and he was calling for his mama, that triggered something in black women. And they got out there and put themselves in harm's way. Okay, so when Sandra Bland got murdered, I didn't see any black men running out in the street. I didn't see none of this. When the sister got shot over in Texas, when a coward cop shot through the window and murdered her, I didn't see any black dudes run out nowhere. So you got the nerve to come on here talking about black women are going hard for a white man, but you ain't going at all for the black woman. Forget about going hard. You ain't going at all for the black woman. See, when you come and you make crazy statements like that, it kind of makes me wonder whose side you really on. Because if you're on the side against our black women, then you're on the side against black people, period. Because I've said this before, without our black women and children, we have no race. So we have to protect them with everything we have. We are the men of our race and our society. We're supposed to be the protectors, the warriors, and the providers. Period. Ain't no other discussion. Ain't no other black woman this or the black woman attitude. Ain't none of that. Okay? That's coward talk. Cowards talk like that. Men understand what they're supposed to do. Men understand that they have to protect their women and children. See, men don't blame other people. You see, when something goes wrong, as a leader, when something goes wrong, I blame myself. I don't look to blame other people. See, that's what real men do. Cowards blame other people. Cowards point fingers. See, irresponsible men blame other people. But you come in here and you say crazy things like the black woman is going hard for a white man. Well, you ain't going hard for the black woman at all. You ain't going at all for the black woman about anything. Again, Corin Gaines, I ain't seen no black dudes. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody see a mob of black dudes get out in the street and go hard for Corin Gaines? when she was murdered in front of her children? Did anybody see a mob of black dudes jump out in the street and put themselves in harm's way when Sandra Bland was murdered? Where were these black men when that sister was shot in her own house by that white cop? I ain't seen no brothers get out in the street and do nothing. Now maybe I missed it. You know, I work all the time. You know, I don't have time to look at the news. Maybe I missed it, but I didn't see no or hear nothing about nothing. As a matter of fact, I heard the opposite and saw the opposite. I saw brothers going against these sisters, just like they're going against Breonna Taylor. Breonna Taylor was murdered in cold blood. I don't see no brothers out here running around talking about we are Breonna Taylor or you know, black women lives matter. I ain't see none of that. I don't see brothers doing nothing but complaining and pointing their fingers at black women because they're too cowardly to get out there and protect their women. And they're allowing all of this violence to come to our women and children.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, as I was saying, because it's known and is that black women are least protected. In fact, sometimes she would be torn up by her own. So of course she's gonna be targeted because hey, who's gonna believe her? Her life, her life, and what she goes through is nothing compared to all the others. The the attitude is I could get away with it. Nobody's gonna believe her. If I happen to get caught, I get a slap on the wrist because hey, she don't have no value. So
Yeah, but it shouldn't happen that
she
way.
would be
Okay.
targeted more than any other race of women. I ain't saying they don't go through it, but she we would be targeted more than the other ethnic groups. In fact, it does not help the situation when our own, especially those that's supposed to be protecting us, are the ones tearing us up. If a woman is raped, and there's no thought about the trauma. It'd be like, what was she wearing? What was she doing there? It was she drunk? Was she high? Was she dressed all slutty and stuff like that? Uh, what was she working? Was she prostituting? Was she stripping? What was she doing out at that time of night? All these are saying when we do this, when that she's responsible for what happened to her. That is her fault.
No, no.
Mhm.
Why are you blaming the woman for that? That she dress anyhow, she talk anyhow, or she go out in the midnight. Why don't you go out with him? Why don't you go out with her? If you really will love your black woman, whatever your black woman is moving in a step or an inch, you have to go with her. But because you don't want to protect your woman. That's why you do complain and you blame the woman for everything that happened. But instead of you to blame yourself and you carry everything on the top of the woman. Why black men are doing that? Why
Mhm.
black men you don't want to save your black women? So which person do you want to save your woman for you? If you black men are not doing that, which man do you want them to save your black women for you? You need to protect our women. Yeah. And we
Mhm.
should stop blaming the women for everything that is happening. We are trying to help the black women. Everybody have to try to help the black women as a black man and stop saying, hey, because he dressed this way and he go to nightclub and he go to this. If you've been protecting her, will she be going to nightclub? Will she wake up and go to some place in the midnight because she don't have anybody who is protecting her?
Mhm.
That's why she wake up and she can do everything she like. We should stop all those things and let us behave as a black people. Black men and black women, we are one. We shouldn't do discrimination and say because I'm black, this. No, you are black, I'm also black. So why are you doing discrimination? You're trying to tell me instead of us to wake up and fight for our women and our children, instead of us to protect our women and our children, our male children, our female children, because they are the future. We are rather blaming the women for nothing. We are not the cause of anything. Black women are not the cause of anything which is happening. So black men stop blaming the women and just wake up and protect your women and your children. They, the children are the future. They are our stars. So black men, we should wake up and protect black children as the black female children and the black male children. We shouldn't leave them. They shouldn't be astray as to how we say it. Then we'll go around blaming the women for that. We should put a stop to it. It's not helping the black community as well. Every black community have to protect his black people inside the community. Black people have to protect black women inside the community. We shouldn't leave our children. Now see what is going on with black children. They are dying. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So when you leave the women open to be attacked, the children are attacked too. Because a lot of these
yeah,
cases where the women were attacked, they had their children with them. Cops did not care that there were babies, toddlers, young children, and shot. Some of these children got wounded, hurt. Some of them, let's see, one of them got hurt real bad. He's disabled for life. And this happened to him with Tyler when his mom died. And it trickles into everything else. It ain't just dealing with a rape, violent crime, domestic violence. It also trickles into that not caring that we're not valued to lackadaisy medical care. Um, because we're having a lot of our women die through childbirth, stuff that could have been caught, but because they weren't as valued as the white women. They were pushed out, or they were seen as they can't afford, or too poor, They were negligent on follow up checkout. They kick us out as quickly as possible, and next thing you know, a mother's died from a stroke or a heart attack from a blood clot. She's hemorrhaging and bleeding out. We have families devastated. What's supposed to be the happiest day turn out to be the saddest day, and there's children that's growing up without their mother. There's husbands who no longer have their wives, and they wonder and question themselves every day. Could I have done something sooner? Should I have demanded more? Should I, because it doesn't end there. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you some examples of how this is while driving while black. Now, all black people experience racial profiling while driving. Black women as well as men are commonly stopped at minor traffic violations, serving as a pretext for criminal investigation. And in the worst case scenario, the perception of reality, a more serious traffic violation, speeding, failing to pull over, driving a stolen car, that one is a really biggie, can turn deadly with race-based perception of black drivers as inherently dangerous, leading cops to use unwarranted lethal force. Victim of such deadly counters typically imagine to be black. Yeah, we typically see it as black. But black women also pay the price. I saw the percentages. It's almost even. 50% of black men and women. Men are like 54%, women are 53. We neck and neck when it comes to that. Okay, here's some names. Alexia Christian, April 30, 2015, Atlanta, Georgia. The details, they said that they were investigating a stolen vehicle call, and she was inside the vehicle. Officers tried to officer arrested and placed her in the back seat of the patrol car. At some point, she was fatally shot in the car. She's in the backseat of the patrol car. They claim she escaped from a handcuff and shot the officer with a stolen gun. And it's like, that's a little suspect. Then they pat her down. Okay, there's a Maya Hall, March 30, 2015, Baltimore, Maryland. Transgender woman killed by NSA police officer just weeks before Freddie Gray case. Supposedly, allegedly to be driving a stolen car because she made a wrong turn on NSA property and was shot to death by an officer as she crashed into the security barrier, security gate in a police cruiser. Okay, all right. Here's some other names: Gabriela Navarez, March 2nd, 2014, Sacramento, California. She was killed after her grandmother called the police because she took the car after an argument. Okay, get into an argument with grandma. You took the car without permission. The grandmother wasn't expecting her to die. Arrested, maybe, but die? She didn't have no gun or anything. Miranda Carey, October 3rd, 2013, March, Washington, D.C. Federal agents cleared Miranda Carey, 34-year-old dental hygienist, suburban mother, after she allegedly sped away from White House checkpoint. Secret Service claimed that they approached her and told her to stop at the checkpoint site and that she refused to do so. Valerie Carey, Miranda's sister, and her attorney, Eric Sanderson, claimed that the official reported incident showed that the altercation actually started when an undercover agent moved a large object into Carey's path and she swerved to avoid him, hitting a barricade instead. They said that Carey likely tried to drive off from the scene out of fear, became increasingly frantic as officers chased and shot at her from behind. They were shooting at her from behind. I would panic and take off too. Shot in the head 3 times and once her left arm, and her 1-year-old baby. I remember I said when the women are not protected, the children are not protected. 1-year-old baby was in the car with her. Chantel Davis, June 14th, 2012, Brooklyn, New York. Uh, plainclothes detective Philip Atkins fatally shot her in Flatbush, Brooklyn. Police said they noticed her driving erratically and followed her. The car chase came to a halt when she collided with a minivan. Atkins then fatally shot Davis in the chest. Later claimed that he accidentally fired his gun as he struggled with her to shift the car into park. Uh-huh. What, the gun was in your hand as you was trying to shift it into park? Why wasn't it in your holster? Tied down. It was an accident. Melissa Williams, no, Melissa Williams, November 29, 2012, Cleveland, Ohio. 30-year-old Melissa Williams was a passenger in the front seat of Timothy Russell's car when he refused to pull over for the police after Russell's car backfired and the police mistook the sound for gunshot. I think Russell was in fear for his life. The police followed the car, high-speed chase across Cleveland, which ended with the police opening fire on the car. Williams and Russell were killed when Officer Michael Brelow climbed up onto the hood of the car and fired several rounds at them. Neither Russell nor Williams were armed. Brelow used deadly force has been widely criticized by civil rights groups. Brelow was charged with manslaughter but was acquitted on May 23rd when the judge ruled that he acted reasonably in climbing onto the hood of the car because Brelow's perception of a threat that mattered. Excuse you, if you feel threatened, why would you climb on the hood of a car where you'd be more exposed to gunshots if supposedly somebody had a gun and could shoot you? Okay, Sharmell Edwards, April 21st, 2012, Los Angeles, Nevada. Police followed her on suspicion that she was driving a stolen car. They claim when she finally stopped and exited the car, she pointed a gun at them. They opened fire in self-defense. At least 3 witnesses dispute that account that she pointed a gun at the officer, and 2 claim that Edwards had no weapons. So the Clark County District Attorney disregarded the eyewitness testimony and ruled that the officer who killed Edwards had acted reasonably and lawfully. But who cares, huh? Kendra James, May 5th, 2003, Portland, Oregon. 3 officers stopped the car Kendra was riding in and removed the driver after they found he had an outstanding warrant. After a friend was arrested, James moved up to the driver's seat. Although James was not under arrest herself, Officer Scott McCalster began struggling with James to remove her from the vehicle. He later claimed that he tried to use non-lethal methods to subdue James, including pepper spray, but that those methods had failed to work. At some point, McCallister held a gun to James' head and fired a single fatal shot. Consequently, he claimed he shot James in self-defense because the vehicle was moving while his body was partially inside the car. He was cleared of all charges related to her death, but a federal grand jury found liable in civil case family filed against him. Shoot. Okay. Then there's Tanya Haggerty, June 4th, 1999, Chicago, Illinois. Okay, she was shot by Chicago police officer Serena Daniels after the car in which she was a passenger failed to stop when police asked the driver to pull over. The officer claimed she thought Haggerty pulled a gun, but no weapons was found at the scene. The young computer analyst was speaking on her cell phone at the time she was gunned down. 3 of the officers was fired, 1 was suspended. Okay, the famous one, Sandra Bland, July 13th, 2015, Walker County, Texas. You know why she was famous? Because it creates such outrage. She stayed in the news forever. She still be popping up. On July
Mhm.
10th, 28-year-old Sandra Bland was pulled over for failing to signal a lane change, and as video of arrest show was pinned to the ground and surrounded by police officers. I never get that. Bland was hurt. How you supposed to give her a ticket? How did you get to pulling her out? Bland was heard questioning the officer about why they slammed her head to the ground and complaining that she could not hear. Officer charged her with assault and held in Waller County Jail. Bland was found dead in cell 3 days later. Bland had recently driven from suburban Chicago to Texas to begin a new job at her alma mater, Texas Prairie View A&M. Official maintained that her death was a suicide. All right. Now, here's
Mhm.
other ways women have been killed or attacked. They call police and property, police brutality at the intersections of gender, race, and class. Black men encounter with the police often take place against a backdrop of disproportionate poverty. Overall, black women are poorer than black men and white women, and many confront desperate conditions while attempting to keep themselves and their family afloat. Black women continue to face grave social economic disparity even in the face of economic recovery that others in America have been enjoyed. They're the only group whose unemployment rate failed to decrease in 2014. Many black women who are abused and killed by police are among the low income and homeless people increasingly targeted by policing of property and broken window policing practice. The criminalization of poor people, when coupled with negative stereotypes about black people, may result not only in police harassment but also in police killing. So, because you're poor, you're homeless, and you're trying to do whatever you can to keep you and your family going, you're being targeted because you're not protected. Shelley Fry, December 6, 2012, Houston, Texas. Louise Campbell, an off-duty sheriff, Houston area minister, shot and killed Shelley Fry in an attempt to apprehend her friend, whom he suspected to be shoplifting from Walmart store. After Campbell failed to stop the group from leaving the store, Fry and her friends got into a car and attempted to drive away. Campbell fired shots into the car, hitting Fry twice in the neck. He later claimed that he fired shots in self-defense because the driver had attempted to run him over. Sharon Wilkerson, Fry's mother, explained that after her daughter was shot, neither the driver nor the police sought medical attention for Fry. Her body was left in the car for 8 hours, not valued, not given proper medical attention. So she got the double whammy. She got shot at, and then was no immediate call to send her to the hospital, call paramedics. So she was left there until she died. Mm-hmm.
This is you voting. Yeah, you voting. How will you leave the woman have to die? Mm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because not only
Because
do they shoot you, they don't get medical help for you. So you die before they even decide to call.
yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
they hate you and they just want to end your life for you. You see what
Mm-hmm.
I've been saying that we do have to protect our women. That is the main target I need. Because as women, okay, my black women have got a shot, a gunshot, and I have a man, a black man calling out his phone. And he was, oh, hello, where are you? Oh, I'm here, so and so, I've been shot by a gun. You can rush and go there and take her to the hospital. At that moment, you're going to save her life. But because we hate our women instead, that's why all those kind of things, which is bad things, is going on with us as a black people. and we black are suffering now. Yeah, we shouldn't do ourselves those things. We should not. Blacks have to be one. And you see, I'm giving you an example. Like you say, we love each other. I want everybody to love each other. Like black men have to love the black women. Black women have to love the black men. You take your cell phone. You say, "Oh, hello, baby. How are you? How is the children?" Maybe you work in different place, and your wife also work in different place. Oh, how is work, baby, today? You see, some kind of love that you're going to show to your husband or your man or your wife. It will attract the kind of love you build inside you and your wife. And it's like no one, yeah, the relationship will be okay and you see much love inside. Because as a black man, when you do all these kind of things, black women like men, they like their black men. I never see black women selling out their black man before, but always it's the black men who do sell out because they don't want to show love to their women. They don't want to care about their women. All they need
No,
is like blaming the women for everything.
no, it's not just they don't care, Abby. It's that they're afraid. They're scared. They're scared to fight back to people that bring harm to their women and children. They're afraid. You see, other races of men protect their women and children. They protect their women and children with their lives. Black men are afraid to. They'd rather get along with the people that's trying to hurt our women and children rather than to deal with them. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get along with them. They're trying to make friends with them. They're trying to side with them. It's like being afraid of a bully in a schoolyard. You understand what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
you got a schoolyard bully running around taking people's lunch money. That's the way black men act.
Mm-hmm.
They act like this white man is taking their lunch money. They are afraid. And the sad part about it is they try to get on the side of the people that stand against our women, the people that's trying to hurt our women. They join forces with those people. They do that out of fear. I mean, the black men today are extremely cowardly, very cowardly and very feminine like. They're very way over the top emotional. Men aren't supposed to be emotional like that. We're supposed to be problem solvers. Okay? They're arguing and fighting with women about every little thing. It's not what men do. Men don't argue and fight with women. We got things to do. You know?
Yeah.
We got
Yeah.
things to build. We got situations to take care of. We got to lead. We got no time to be arguing and fighting with a woman, especially on social media. That's out of your element anyway. I mean, you're out of your element anyway, trying to argue back and forth with women on social media. Seriously? Social media? A public forum
Yeah.
that's built for talking and chatting? You're not gonna outgun no black woman on social media. You're out of your depth.
Mm-hmm.
But those gay dudes, they think they can. And those are the ones who are causing the biggest problem. These gay black dudes, these effeminate black dudes, that created all these hate groups. And they got stupid brothers following them. Stupid brothers following them because they scared to death too. They scared to fight back. All I keep hearing is, well, the black woman won't let me do this. Man, the black woman will do it. What about what the white man ain't letting you do? How come you ain't arguing with him? I don't see you online arguing with no white man because he won't let you do something. He ain't letting you do nothing either. So when you gonna start arguing back and forth with him? When you gonna start building up hate groups towards him because he ain't letting you do nothing? Hell, he ain't even trying to let you live. At least the black woman ain't out here trying to kill you. So when you gonna get on the line and start arguing with the white man? Because he ain't letting you do nothing either. Every time you turn around, he trying to restrict your movements. He trying to restrict what you eat. Matter of fact, he's putting poison in what you eat. He's trying to restrict you living. He don't want to see you living. He'd rather blow your brains out. He ain't trying to let you do nothing either. So when do we start seeing these factions created against the white man like you created against the black woman? And she ain't even doing what the white man ain't let you do. You know?
Mm,
Cowards.
yeah.
Like I said, you got the nerve to come and say black women done something to you and black women are going hard for other men or whatever, and you ain't going hard for her. You ain't doing nothing for her. Again, we had sisters murdered in cold blood. I don't see no brothers out there marching for them. I don't see no brothers out there saying, oh, she called for her daddy. Let me get triggered and go out there and protect our women. When that man called out for his mother, that triggered a lot of black women because they felt that that could have been their son. And they got out in the street and expressed how they felt about that. I don't see any black men getting out there saying, man, Corinne Gaines could have been my daughter. Sandra Brand could have been my daughter. Breonna Taylor could have been my daughter. I'm fighting for this woman could have been my daughter. Where are the men at? Where are they at?
Yeah. They can. Yeah, they can do.
Well, they seem to be either either they're that's not my child, my daughter, or I don't know her, or no, I'm not going to defend her because it's her fault that this, that, or that, and this, whatever it is I'm going through that I perceive as her fault. hmm Okay. Well, now here's some others that not known about. Margaret Laverne Mitchell, May 21st, 1999, Los Angeles, California. Described by Amnesty International as a frail, mentally ill, homeless African American woman in her 50s. Mark Laverne Mitchell was shot by LAPD officer on the street where she lived. Mitchell was well known in the area, and the local residents who affectionately called her mom described her as sweet and harmless. Based on eyewitness account, officers stopped Mitchell as she was pushing a shopping cart down the street. When an eyewitness sought to intervene to protect her from police harassment, Mitchell walked away from the officer, who then shot her in the back. The officer later claimed that Mitchell, who was 54-year-old, weighed 102 pounds, and was a diminutive 5'1", lunged at them with a screwdriver, causing them to fear for their lives. The shooting was found to have violated LAPD rules, but the officer who shot Mitchell was acquitted of all criminal charges. hmm And then there's
Yeah.
Eleanor Bumpers, October 29, 1984, Brooklyn, New York. Police, no, not Brooklyn, sorry about that, Bronx, New York. Police arrived at the Bronx home of Eleanor Bumpers, a 66-year-old grandmother, in response to city order eviction notice. She was 4 months behind on her monthly rent of $98.65. When she refused to open the door for the police, the officers broke into her apartment. In a struggle to subdue her, an officer fatally shot Bumpers twice with a 12-gauge shotgun. In March 1990, the city of New York, as part of a settlement agreement, agreed to $200,000 to Bumper's estate. Bumper was one of the first black women whose death prompted protests, but her case never served to drive our collective analysis of the cause and the context of police violence. She was black, she was poor, and what they need a 12-gauge shotgun for? Okay, now this is another aspect of when black women face violence. Casualties of the war on drug, black women as drug mules. So, some are familiar with the impact of the war on drugs on black women through stories such as the Kimber Smith and the Dorothy Gaines, women who were given long prison sentences under mandatory minimum guidelines despite their peripheral involvement in drug trade. Yet there has been relatively little attention to law enforcement interaction that drive these phenomena. Interactions informed by perception of black women's bodies as vessels of drug ingestion, swallowed or concealed, or of their home as drug factories or dens of danger and violence. These perceptions have few interactions that have taken the lives of black girls as young as 7 and black women as old as 92. All right, let's start with the first one. Katherine Johnston, November 21st, 2006, Atlanta, Georgia. Undercover police shot and killed 92-year-old Katherine Johnston in her home during a botched drug raid. When police arrived unannounced at her home and attempted to enter, Johnston fired a shot in self-defense. It went through the screen door, but it hit no one. In response, the police opened fire and released 39 bullets, several of which hit Johnston. Afterwards, the three Atlanta police officers tried to cover up the fact that the incident was based on an inaccurate report on drug activity in Johnston's home. One officer planted marijuana in Johnston's house and cocaine in the evidence file. All three officers were sentenced to prison terms ranging from 5 to 10 years for conspiracy to violate civil rights result in death. Two of the officers were further charged with voluntary manslaughter and making false statement. All right. Doesn't that sound awfully familiar? Unannounced. Breaking into somebody's house. A shot was fired. Nobody was killed. And then a hail of bullets go through and kill the the lady of the house. Anybody want to say how familiar this is? It seems like.
Well, I remember the Eleanor Bumpers thing. I was real young when that happened. I remember when that happened in real time. But
Oh.
back then, see, that was back in the 80s. See, back
Mhm.
then,
Mhm.
everything was a little different. You still had black men who were willing to engage.
Mhm.
So you had a lot of black men out there protesting for Eleanor Bumpers because that could have been their grandmother and stuff like that. You see, when you love your women, that forces you to act. It don't matter if the black woman is not in your family, okay? But if you have the overall love for black women, you're
Mhm.
going to act for them. You're going to go out and protect them because you understand that we are their first, last, and only line of defense. The world has shown us how they feel about our women. So when you have guys who are taking up arms against them, then it makes the black women feel that they have nobody in their corner.
Uh-huh.
And right. And so my thing is this here. Look at what's going on in Nigeria right now. There's a massive fight between the Nigerians and the cops. What are they fighting? They're in the street fighting cops, and some of them are dying. Cops are dying, some Nigerians are dying. But why are they in the street fighting? They're fighting against police brutality. They're
Mhm.
not going to sit there and accept being brutalized by the police. See, that's the difference between them and us. Because we got black men that are so cowardly, they're willing to accept being brutalized by the police. As a matter of fact, the meritorious manumission, the effect of that is so prevalent today that you got groups of black men that are willing to give you up just just so they can feel safe for one more day. They can hide from the boogeyman. Instead of going out and dealing with the boogeyman, they want to run around and hide the boogeyman and feed their own people to the boogeyman. Again, I point my fingers to Nigeria. Look at what's going on over there. They're fighting the police. They're all in the street
Yeah.
fighting the police because
Yeah.
they won't accept being treated like dogs. They're not going to allow the police to bully them. They're not going to allow the police to brutalize them. Where are the black men doing that? They did it back in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
They fought back the police. They did it in the 70s. They fought back the police. But where is it today? You don't see them doing anything. All you see them doing is running and blaming black men. They'd rather get out in the street and take their shirt off and fight black women rather than fight this beast. And this is why no race of man respects us and feel that he can do anything he wants to our women and our children, because the men are so cowardly, they don't fear any retaliation whatsoever. No retaliation. Black men have sent the message loud and clear to other races. Hey, we don't know her. Okay? Mm-hmm. We not with her. She on her own. And then another thing to talk about, right? Let me tell you how weak these dudes are. I'm talking about something. But the black woman says she a strong black woman. So what? What is that supposed to mean? All these women think they're strong. And they are strong. From a woman's standpoint, they're not talking about from a man's standpoint. They're talking about from a woman's standpoint. They're strong women. So what? They said that. What does that even mean? That tells you that, okay, well, she's a strong black woman. I ain't got to do nothing for her. Well, most of our mothers were strong black women. Does that mean that we are not going to protect them if somebody bothers them or somebody try to harm them? My mother was a strong black woman. I tell you what, put your hands on her. I'll try to decapitate you. I wasn't going to not defend my mother because she felt that she was a strong black woman. That's nonsense. Well, she said she a strong black woman. So what? So what? She said she don't need a man. Women talk. A lot of times they don't even mean what they say. That's just a woman thing. Let them talk. You do what you're supposed to do as a man. You ain't got to worry about any of that. These guys make every excuse in the book not to be brave men, not to stand up and do what they're supposed to do. Oh, she says she a strong black woman. So what? And then he wants to sit up here and talk about some, well, you heard it. 4 out of 5 black women are overweight. I keep hearing that. 4 out of 5 black women are overweight. Well, 4 out of 5 black men are gay. What? What? Deal with that. 4 out of 5 black men are cowards. 4 out of 5 black men are gay. 4 out of 5 black men are sissies. Oh, we can do the 4 out of 5 thing. We can do that.
Yeah.
4 out of 5 black men are irresponsible fathers. Anybody want to jump in on the 4 out of 5 thing? I'm pretty sure we can come up with a whole bunch of 4 out of 5 scenarios when it comes down to black men. 4 out of 5 black men are homeless. 4 out of 5 black men don't have a job. 4 out of 5 black men ain't trying to look for a job. 4 out of 5 black men, right, are grown-ass boys. 4 out of 5 black men do nothing but play video games. I mean, we can go on and on and on with the 4 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this, to me, is, I'm sorry, I'm ranting, but I'm almost done. I come from the old school. I come from a different time. I come from a family. We had values, morals. I was taught to build and construct and go out and bring a woman back to what I've built. Not to go out and lay up under a woman's roof and be worthless. Not to have nothing. Not to run around here on my knees and don't have nothing to offer a woman. I was taught exactly the opposite. These guys today, they want the woman to have everything. They want to act like the woman and want the woman to act like a man because they don't want to protect the woman. They're too scared. So now they made up this false scenario. Oh, well, she masculine. She masculine. Why are you saying that? Because you feel that you're feminine? You don't feel like a man? Because a real man is not going to call a woman a masculine. They don't even talk like that. That's that sissy talk. Sick and tired, man. I'm so sick and tired of these weak, pathetic dudes. It's driving me crazy. And I feel sorry for the black woman because the communities is saturated with so many of these kind of dudes that the black woman don't know what a real man is anymore. So when one does come along, she ain't even gonna know what to do. I yield the mic. It's on y'all.
Okay. Yes. Auntie, sorry to say, yes, they shot up a 92-year-old grandmother. Okay, then there's Alberta Spew, May 16, 2003, Harlem, New York, 57 years old. Alberta Spew, described by her niece Cynthia Howe as a devout, a devout, longtime city worker, died of a heart attack after the police broke down her door and threw a concussion grenade into her apartment. The police was acting on misinformation about drugs and guns inside her apartment.
A concussion grenade.
Yes, I remember that. Because
Wow.
we was talking about demilitarizing the police. They got these.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
A concussion grenade.
Yes. Lazy police work didn't double check their information. Yeah. Okay, then there's Danetta Daniels, June 8, 1997, Newmark, New Jersey. Danetta Daniels, a pregnant black woman, was arrested for dealing drugs by New Jersey police officers. Daniel was then fatally shot in the neck by police officers as she sat in the police squad car after alleged scuffle. Witness denied that Daniels was involved in any drugs transaction at the time of her death. So, what, they thought her pregnant belly was full of drugs?
That's insane. And where are the black men protesting? Why is only Al Sharpton out there saying something about this?
Mm-hmm.
Why is Wolfman Black the only one out there saying something? Where are the rest of the black men? The world needs to see us standing up for our women. The world needs to see us not taking any more crap when it comes down to our women. The world needs to see that. Where are the brothers to show the world that we're not going to stand for the brutality of our women anymore? Where are they at? I can't be the only one. It can't just be a few of us.
Mm-hmm. Well, unfortunately, it seemed like or there was some talk for a time and then it got forgotten. Okay, now there's Frankie Ann Perkins, March 22nd, 1997, Chicago, Illinois. The Frankie Ann Perkins, the mother of three daughters, ages 4, 6, and 16, was walking home one evening when the police stopped her. They claimed they observed her swallowing drugs and tried to get her to spit the drugs out. Witness stated that the officer strangled her to death, a claim consistent with the medical examiner finding and autopsy photos that show bruises on her bruises on her face and rib cage and eyes that were swollen shut. No drugs.
I mean, you strangle somebody to death. That's hatred.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when you are suffocating someone until the life go out their body, that's absolutely demonic. That's pure hatred. I mean, the hatred that they attack our women with, but yet we can't turn around, right, and hit them back with the same kind of hatred. See, if you hate my women and want to brutalize my women, then I hate you. We keep saying, well, hate is not a good thing to do. Well, you shouldn't hate nobody. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. We got to look at some, we got to revisit that. Because if you hate our women and children, I'm going to hate you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about no, well, I ain't supposed to hate. Well, you ain't supposed to hate my women and children. You ain't supposed to be brutalizing my women and children. You ain't supposed to be doing that either. All this turn the other cheek crap, man, I ain't trying to hear that. Turn the other cheek. That's silly. Nobody else does that but black folk. Ain't nobody paying that no mind but black folk.
Yeah.
And the people that tell you to do it, they not even paying no attention to it. White folks are the first people that tell you, well, violence is not the answer. Man, well, they seem to be using violence to answer everything.
Mm-hmm.
And violence, how can you not call them hypocrites? Hey, man, you said violence ain't the answer. Why are you beating the hell out of me? Why are you violently trying to knock my head off? Why are you violently breaking into a 92-year-old woman's house and throwing concussion grenades? Why are you violent? You just said violence isn't the answer. So why are you? I'm sorry, I got distracted. So why are you so violent? I'll tell you why. Because they tell you that to pacify you so you won't retaliate. And then they turn around and bust you upside your head.
Okay. Well, this is interesting. What else they said? Perkins' mother reported that police subsequently harassed young men in the neighborhood to prevent them from speaking out about her case. The police office of professional standard found no criminal wrongdoing by the officers. The city of Chicago settled a lawsuit with the family. Mm-hmm. Okay. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I went too far. I went too far. All right. Okay. Now, here is violence instead of treatment. Police killing of black women in mental health crisis. In the absence of adequate mental health resources for the vast majority of the black community, law enforcement officers often serve as the first and only responder to mental health crises experienced by black women. Police officers, however, are not mental health professionals and often lack the skills and training necessary to handle these situations. This lack of training, combined with a take charge at all costs attitude on the part of some officers, has led to the loss of life of those whom the police were called to serve. In several tragic incidents, police officers have perceived black women who are experiencing mental health crises as dangerous or as individuals who possess superhuman strength, no matter how vulnerable, frail, or in distress they might be. Instead of offering the compassionate support these women needed, police criminalize them and respond with deadly force. Bias that they have against black women, black people, and black women in particular, and then you combine that with the mental health issue. All right. We're starting off with Tanisha Anderson, November 13th, 2014, Cleveland, Ohio. The family of 37-year-old Tanisha Anderson reached out for assistance to calm their daughter during a mental health crisis. Anderson grew increasingly agitated when the police separated her from her family and attempted to place her in the confined space of a police vehicle. During the struggle, a police officer performed a takedown move on her, slamming her against the concrete sidewalk. He placed his knee on he placed his knee on her back and handcuffed her as she lay face down on the pavement. The officer refused to allow Anderson family to comfort her as she lay dying and exposed on the snow-covered street. She was pronounced dead upon arrival at the hospital. The I can't even pronounce that name. Cuyahoga County medical examiner ruled her death a homicide. Anderson family filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Cleveland and two of his police officers. Anderson suffered from bipolar disorder, but her mother Cassandra explained that as long as she was on her medication, you never know she had a problem. You never know anything was wrong with her. Johnson indicated that despite media narrative, Anderson was not violent, and it was the behavior of the police in isolating her from her family that made her panic. So she having a mental breakdown, and she panicked from being separated from family, and he decides to body slam her. Okay, now we move into Michelle Cuso, Cuso August 13, 2014, Phoenix, Arizona. Police shot Michelle, I'm not going to try to pronounce that last name, to death in her home while they were attempting to take her to a mental health facility. Michelle refused to let the police in her home, prompting Officer Percy Duper to break through the screen door to gain entry. Duper encountered Michelle holding a hammer and shot her in the heart. Duper claimed that although Michelle said nothing to threaten him, she had that anger in her face like she was going to hit someone with that hammer. Michelle's mother, Frances Garrett, wondered what did the police officer see when he pried open the door? A black woman? A lesbian? Michelle's mother further explained that Michelle was changing the lock on the door when the police arrived, and that was why she had her tools out. Moreover, the police knew when they arrived at her home that Michelle suffered from a mental illness, but they were ill prepared to manage the situation and ended her life instead of protecting it. In February 2015, Michelle's mother filed a lawsuit against the city of Phoenix, arguing that the police sergeant either ignored Michelle's condition or was inadequately trained to respond to it. Okay, brace yourself, everybody. Pearly Golden, May 7, 2014, Herney, Texas. Police officer Steve Stem fatally shot Pearly Golden, a 93-year-old woman, after her nephew called to report that she was waving a gun. Her nephew said that Golden was upset because he had taken her car keys after she failed the driving test. When Stem saw the elderly woman waving a gun around, he fired 4 or 5 rounds at her, hitting her at least twice. 4 days later, he was fired from the police department. A grand jury failed to indict him for Golden's killing. So yeah, he no longer worked for the police department, but they didn't give him no jail time. This touches a little close for me because I had a great aunt, and well, she might have pulled out her gun and waved it around and probably threatened her nephew. She just wanted her keys. And I've seen police handle worse than that without having to shoot the person. And so now this nephew is suffering from guilt um, because he called the police to have help. He figured when she saw the police, she was going to give over the gun. But he didn't give her a chance to give over the gun. He just came up on her and shot her. Okay. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. The next person, Kayla Moore, February 12th, 2013, Berkeley, California. Kayla Moore, a black transgender woman, was killed by Berkeley police who came to her home in response to a call for help from her roommate because Moore was experiencing mental health crisis. Instead of escorting Moore to a medical facility as requested, the officer attempted to arrest her on a warrant for a man 20 years her senior, who had the same name Moore was given at birth. Several officers overpowered Moore in her own bedroom, suffocating her to death in the process. Afterwards, officers delayed monitoring her vital signs, referring to her using transgender slur, and failed to administer adequate life-saving treatment. Moore's body was also exposed during and after the police assault. Activists in Berkeley have organized to publicize her case and have filed a lawsuit against Berkeley police officer responsible for her death. Why was her body exposed? That's what I like to know. What were they doing? Okay. Okay, then there's Sharice Francis, March 15, 2012, Queen, New York. Sharice Francis family called for an ambulance after she became emotionally distraught following an argument with her mother. Francis was schizophrenic and at the time was not taking her medication. Four police officers arrived at their home in Queens and tried to convince Francis to go to the hospital, but she refused. The officer reported, okay. The officer reported that she was uncooperative and that she lunged at them. In response, all four officers pinned her down in an attempt to handcuff her. Francis stopped breathing during this altercation, and her hospital pronounced her dead shortly afterwards. The coroner report concluded Francis had died due to compression of her trunk during aggravated violent behavior. Her family had filed a wrongful death suit with the police department yet to release its records in response to Freedom of Information Act's request. Okay, and then here's Tanisha Miller. December 28, 1998, Riverside, California. 3 days after Christmas, police officer fatally shot 19-year-old Tanisha Miller after finding her unconscious in her car. Okay, now I remember unconscious in a car that had broken down. A gun rested on Tanisha's lap as she lay unconscious. Friends said the gun was likely displayed for protection because a man had been harassing her when they left to get help. Police arrived and broke a side window of the car, rousing Miller. And as she regained consciousness, officer fired 24 shots at her, striking her with 12 bullets. Following the shooting, officer was placed on administrative leave, but no one was charged with her shooting. She was scared. She was alone, broke down the side of the road, and she was just being harassed by some strange man. But that's the answer for everything. Okay. Oh, Ebony, you was trying to say something?
Yeah, I was saying, yeah, how will you, like you were saying, sorry, I forget about what you said now. You don't want to go
Oh, yeah.
on. Yeah.
Yeah. So she broke down on the side of the road. She could have used the help. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Death in custody. Black women as superhuman capable of feeling pain. In a 2014 study in social psychology personality science found that white people were more likely to implicate or explicitly superhumanize black people. In the context of law enforcement interaction, this superhuman trope can lead black women to being treated punitively, denied help, and left to suffer in unbearable circumstances while in police custody. This cruelty that would be difficult to imagine were a middle-class white woman involved is no doubt informed by a narrative that framed black women as somehow superhuman and therefore incapable of feeling pain in the same way as their white counterpart. Yeah, I hate that crap. because it leads to other things, which I'm going to get to later. Natasha McKinnon, Natasha McKenna, February 8, 2015, Fairfax County, Virginia. 37-year-old Natasha McKenna died in the hospital several days after she was tased by officers in Fairfax County Jail. McKenna, who weighed 130 pounds, was already restrained with handcuffs behind her back, leg shackles, and a hood when a sheriff deputy shocked her 4 times. She suffered from mental illness. An officer used a taser on her, it is used, even though its use is not recommended on people in mental health crisis. Also claimed that she
This
was
is very
being
bad.
uncooperative. Huh?
I was saying, yes, this is very bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which led them to restrain then tase her. Within minutes of being tased, McKenna stopped breathing. When her mother visited her in the hospital, her body was covered in bruises, both her eyes was blackened, and one of her fingers was missing. She died a few days later. Oh, I think they tortured her. Hmm. Okay. All right. I'm catching my breath. Yam Kami Livingston. Oh no, it might be Kayam Livingston. July 24th, 2013, Brooklyn, New York. All right. I'm gonna call NYPD. I'm calling her by her last name because I don't want to keep messing up her first name. Um, NYPD officer left Livingston in a holding cell after they arrested her for fighting with her grandmother while in custody. Livingston complained of cramps and diarrhea, but officer ignored her pleas for help and those of people held in the cell with her for hours. After Livingston went 20 hours in the cell, police finally called for medical assistance when they claimed to notice that she was suffering From apparent seizures. She was pronounced dead upon arrival. A medical examiner found that the cause of death was an alcohol-induced seizure. She was 37-year old and a mother of two. In 2013, Livingston family filed wrongful death lawsuit in Brooklyn federal court. Okay, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing it. Shaki Proctor, November 1st, 2014, Bessemer, Alabama. 18-year-old Proctor was arrested for disorderly conduct and was taken to Bessemer City Jail. When Proctor, who suffered from asthma, called her mother from jail, she indicated that the police have treated her roughly. She had informed the police that she was ill, but they have ignored her request for medical attention. She was found dead in her cell the next morning. Her cell was videotaped during this entire period, but the police department had refused to release the footage to her family. The family lawyer, Hawk Sherrod, told The Guardian that this young woman was denied medical treatment while being recorded on videotape right before the police eyes. The fact that they wouldn't hand the film over makes us wonder what they have to hide. Proctor was the mother of an infant boy. Okay. Now here's another aspect. Guilt by association. Black women as collateral damage. In the age of mass incarceration and the war on drugs, black women are often killed even when they are not the main target of police action. The notion of collateral damage, which frames virtually all police violence against black women as the product of simply being next to the real target, black men, is by no means the only or even primary way in which black women experience state sanctioned violence. Nevertheless, the vulnerability of black women and girls being killed alongside black men, no matter what they were doing at the time, is a damn indicator oh, I'm sorry, is damning indicator of the impact of the distribution of deadly police force in black communities. All right. All right. First one up. Who? Who? Okay. Rika Boy, March 21st, 2012, Chicago, Illinois. Off duty Chicago police detective Dante Severn fatally shot 22-year-old Rikia Boy as she was standing in the alley with friends. When Severn told them to quiet down, words were exchanged with one of Boy's friends. Servant seated in his car then fired 5 rounds from his gun into the group, whose whose back were turned to him at the time, hitting Boy in the back of the head. A friend who rushed to hold and comfort the bleeding young woman was threatened with arrest and forced to step away from the mortally wounded boy as she lay in the street. Boy was removed from life support 2 days later. Severn continued to work for the Chicago Police Department until he was officially charged with involuntary manslaughter and the reckless discharge of a firearm. His trial was held in April 2015. The judge issued a direct verdict, effectively clearing Severn of all charges. The legal reason for the judge's decision that Severn's action were intentional rather than reckless, and therefore he could not be convicted of involuntary manslaughter, has been critiqued by legal scholars on all sides of the bar. In 2013, the city of Chicago awarded Boy's family $4.5 million wrongful death settlement. Mm. That is rough, but that's what we be facing. Okay, now I saw briefly that some of y'all had mentioned her in the chat. Ayana Stanley Jones, or is it Ayana? Ayana Stanley Jones, May 16, 2010, Detroit, Michigan. Yeah, we all remember this one. Detroit police officer Joseph Wheatley shot and killed 7-year-old Aliana Stanley Jones in her sleep during a raid on her grandmother's home. Wheatley claimed that he pulled the trigger accidentally during a struggle with the girl's grandmother, Matilda Jones. Jones reported that she was reaching out to protect her granddaughter, and another officer testified that there was no struggle over the weapon. Wheatley was tried twice and cleared of all charges, most recently in January 2015. He returned to work in April 2015. Oh my goodness. Okay. And then we got Tarika Wilson, January 4th, 2008, Lima, Ohio. Police conducted a SWAT team raid of 26-year-old Tarika Wilson home in search of Wilson's boyfriend, a suspected drug dealer. Moments after entering her home, a police officer opened fire on Wilson and her 14-month-old son. As I've said, when the women ain't protected, the children ain't protected. And more than likely, the children are with their mother. So if you don't protect the woman, you don't protect the child or the children. Okay, open fire on Wilson and her 14-month-old son, killing her and wounding her baby. Wilson was not involved in the illicit drug trade. Sergeant John Cavalier, who killed Wilson, was acquitted of 2 misdemeanors: negligent homicide and negligent assault. Okay, Wilson found to receive a settlement on her wrongful death. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, because of these bias. Okay. Now we're moving on to another level. Police killings in the context of response to violence. Black women are disproportionately at risk for domestic violence, sexual abuse, and death at the hand of family members, partners, and people they know. In 2014, Time magazine article revealed that they're almost 3 times more likely to experience death as a result of domestic violence than are white women. While they comprise only 7% of the population, black women make up 22% of the domestic violence homicide. In fact, leading cause of death of African American women between the ages of 15 to 34 is homicide at the hand of current or former. Hold on a second, y'all.
Oh yeah, yeah. What he's trying to say is true. Yeah, if you save your children or if you leave the women astray, the children also might be gold. So save your women and save your children as a black people. Don't leave the children. Don't leave our female children, our male children. We used to say because when they kill the mother, they also kill the child. When they rape or they violate the mother, they also violate the children. So be aware. Don't think that, hey, my woman is the one who have been violent. It's not my children. It's going back to your children as well. Yeah. Assuming your children, they violate your children, and your woman is there. You're going to straightforward blame the woman for that. Why it shouldn't be that? Yeah.
Well, you know, they don't. Well, blaming the women makes them feel good about not being men. You see, the white man has taken the heart of the black man, and he too afraid to go and get it back. So he want to go and turn his anger out on what he think is the weakest sex, which is the woman. Now, here's the kicker: you got Becky, got her men murdering our women. So instead of black men defending our women from Becky's men, most of our men want to go have sex with Becky. While her man is killing our women and brutalizing our women, they want to go have sex with Becky. And for some of the weakest things, I heard a guy in the chat room say, simply because a black woman raised her voice, right? Guys, let me explain something to you about women. Women are very argumentative. Women are very emotional. Women are very sensitive because they're nurturing people. They're nurturing and loving people. Okay? That's sensitivity comes with the territory. They give birth to children. They nurse children. They grow children. They raise children. Okay? So yes, they're sensitive. They're argumentative. That's a part of their nature. That's normal for them. What's not normal is a man doing it. See, real men understand the nature of women and don't pay it no mind. What's wrong is when a man is like that. That's a problem. See, ain't nothing wrong with a woman being like that because she's just being a woman. That's cool. We understand that. That comes with the territory. But when a man is like that, that's problematic. And the thing about it is, no one's making you that way. You decided to be that way simply because you're scared. I'm going to keep saying you guys are scared. It's fear that's making you do this. Fear. Now, one of the most ridiculous things I ever heard was a black man who has no power, scared of the beast. Now, everybody else done fought this beast back. Even the Mexicans fought him back. Okay? So, this black man said, well, the white man going after my woman, I'm going to go after his. What you want to go after his for? This woman sleeps with animals. And what do you want to go after her for? That's your way of getting back at the white man? You're not getting back at him like that. because he could just kill you if he wants. He makes all of the laws. You haven't done anything in this country to secure anything for your women and children. This white man could come in your house and do anything he wants. She has no protection from this beast. And her protection from this beast is supposed to be you, but instead of you protecting her, you're letting him poke you in the dunker. That's what you're letting him do. See, no other race of men would stand for this. No other race of men will allow the police to just run up in the house. Again, I'll point to Nigeria. They're not trying to hear that over there. You're not going to be running up in their houses and brutalizing them. That's why they're in the street right now fighting the police. And they dropping some police over there. Some Nigerians are getting dropped, but police are also going down. Because they ain't trying to hear that. You're not going to be running up in my house, brutalizing my family. They're not trying to hear that. And so black men allow anything and everything to happen to black women and black children. As a matter of fact, when it does happen, they want to sit up here and point out things like, oh, well, what did she do? You know what got me? Two stories really stick out. And I'm going to take y'all back real quick. Remember the 11-year-old girl that was at the mall, I believe, in Georgia, that nearly got her head knocked off by this 6'7", 300-pound white man? Y'all remember that? There were grown black men talking about, well, she deserved it. Well, since when does an 11-year-old baby deserve to get treated like that? You see, a lot of black men have taken on the concept of white supremacy. They've taken on the concept of the Ku Klux Klan. And they now see our children the way racist people see our children. They see our children as adults. So to them, an 11-year-old girl is a grown woman. As a matter of fact, to some of them, a 3-year-old girl is a grown woman. I've heard some of them say, man, this 3-year-old girl already learned how to manipulate men. What? How do you get that? How do you get that a 3-year-old girl cries and then her father or brother gives her a toy and she stops crying? How is that manipulating men? She's a 3-year-old baby. Babies cry. You give them toys and pacifiers so they can be quiet. How is that manipulation? See, that's the mind of a pedophile to even think something like that. And so it was the 11-year-old girl's fault. So this thing is real deep. It has layers to it of why black women are being brutalized and are prone to violence now by other races of men more than any other time that I've ever seen in my life. Because this wasn't going on back in my day. Because men will fight back. Okay, so today, there is no fighting back. As a matter of fact, the black woman is doing all of the fighting. She's fighting for black men and fighting for her life too. She's doing both. Even though most of the black men don't care nothing about her and has sold her out, she's still willing to go out here and put her life on the line to try to defend her black men. She still has some hope. But yet you got black men that won't do it for her. Won't come out. Again, I've yet to see a group of black men get together and do anything or say anything when one of our women get murdered. Now, I could be wrong. If there is, point them out to me because I haven't seen them. Okay, I haven't seen that. But I have seen the opposite. I don't mean to sound redundant, but this thing just keeps playing over and over and over again like a scratched record. So we have to figure out, as black men, what are we going to do? Are we going to protect our women and children, or are we just going to lay down and die? I think that's where we're at right now, people. Oh, and this superhuman crap, that's a bunch of BS. That's just an excuse to kill black people. Oh, we looking at them, the super. What are they? Wonder Woman. What are they doing? Flying around, busting through walls, picking up cars and throwing them down the street. Superhuman. Ridiculous. I yield the mic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's called being a baby. Yeah, but little boys do the same thing.
Yeah, but who says? Who says? Oh, a 3-year-old girl, she's learning how to manipulate men already. Who says that?
Some really twisted MFs.
Oh, an 11-year-old girl. Oh, it's her fault. That's an 11-year-old baby. Okay, so she came at this big old man with her little tiny fist, with a little angry face, talking about she gonna do. Please, seriously, I could have diffused that situation. I would have turned into a father real quick. Young lady, sit your behind down. All of you sit down. I'm calling your parents. I could have took care of that situation without putting my hands on anyone.
Well, you know what they did? They sided with the weak man because that man shoved her first.
Now, here's the thing. Here's the kicker, though, Dame and Abby. They are afraid of a coward, a cowardly white man who is afraid of an 11-year-old girl. They're afraid of an 11-year-old girl. He want to hit an 11-year-old girl like a grown man, but won't hit a grown man like that. So you got the white man going around bullying your women and children, but with the exception, right? There's a serious exception here. They're causing, in a lot of cases, fatal bodily harm. And so you're scared of the white man because, man, he almost knocked that little girl head off. I'm scared of him. Now, you should be the opposite. You should be infuriated. See, when I see that, that infuriates me. It doesn't put fear in me. It puts rage in me. That a big coward like that would do that to a little girl. Won't do that to a grown man. But you see, you cowards have a different way you see it. Because he did that to an 11-year-old girl, you're scared to death. Oh, he must be this and he must be that, man. What would he do to me? And so many of you have done, well, many of you see our children the same way as white people. And I keep saying this, Dame, they see our children the same way white people do. They see them as adults, no matter how old they are.
Yeah.
And as black men, as black people, we have to make a decision. Okay, we're going to have to cut ties with such men. These aren't men. We're going to have a show pretty soon. I don't want to give out the contents of it, but trust me, you ain't going to. We'll let you know the moment we go live with it, because if we say it now, somebody's going to try to copy it. But we got a very interesting show coming up in about 2 weeks. Okay, and so we're going to unveil something to y'all. We're going to show y'all something. And we got to get to the point where we have to acknowledge this, and our black women have to stop arguing with these dudes. These guys are gone. You see, what they're doing is they are antagonizing women because they know women are very argumentative. Women are going to get to an argument with them. So they want to occupy you and go back and forth with you so they can get views. That's the reason why they say the things they say. These guys don't say this stuff in real life. Ain't no real men I know walking around talking like this. Can't no dude live in the hood talk crazy like that.
No.
Not around no real men. I wish somebody would. I wish somebody. I live in the hood. I wish somebody would come to talking about some. Yo, man. These black women, man. They this and they that, man. You know, we need to get away from them and start going with these Beckys. And first of all, why is your first order of business is to try to secure a woman from another race? There's a lot of other things you need to be doing. You got a whole community out there that you need to be dealing with. You don't own nothing in your communities. Again, renting an apartment is not ownership. Like I said before, if you rent an apartment and it's owned by another man, you're not really providing a home for your woman. I mean, you got a roof over her head. Well, actually, you're not providing the roof. The man that owns that building is providing the roof because you're paying him. So you got her under another man's roof. So in that situation, y'all on even ground. See, my thing like this here, right? A lot of the brothers talk like women now. See, women talk like, I need to get the bills paid. I want to make sure my rent's paid. A man ain't supposed to be talking like that. A man ain't supposed to be talking about, man, I need to get my rent paid. I need to get my bills paid. Negro, you supposed to have a house. You supposed to have your own. You supposed to be out here striving to get your own. So your woman and your children don't have to worry about getting put out every 30 days. Don't have to worry about, well, if you don't bring a check in this month, there's going to be an eviction notice on the door. She ain't got to worry about coming home and she's padlocked out of her apartment and all her things are on the street.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't even protect your woman from that. See, if you can't do that, then you still got a ways to go in being a full-grown man. A man owns and controls his environment. You haven't gotten there yet. You got to get there first before you ask for some damn submission. Because if you are providing a roof over your woman's head that's being provided by another man, you are being submissive. You are submissive to that man that's providing the roof for both of you. And you are being submissive. You know why? Don't pay that man to see what happened. What you gonna do when he threatens to throw you out on the street? You and your woman. You and your women and your children. What you gonna do? You gonna submit. Excuse me, my brother, man. Can you just wait one more week, man? Can you just hold out, man? I ain't getting too many hours at the job, man. You know, I'm borrowing some money, man. Can you just hold on? Please don't put me out. Come on. Yeah, you gonna submit. So you're the one that's being submissive. You still ain't no full-grown man yet because you ain't got nothing. What you have is not even yours. It belongs to another man. So let's cut it out with this submissive stuff. If you don't own and control your own environment, you don't own your homestead, you don't own your own environment or run your own environment, don't even talk submission. Because if you're renting a trailer or renting an apartment, you're the one that's being submissive. I yield the mic. Hello?
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. Well, yeah, that too, that protection of owning your home and knowing that you can't get kicked out of it. But shooks nowadays, I see more women owning their home than men. In fact, I know of one girl who got the home before she got the man. She's like, nah, I'm not gonna wait till I have a husband. She said, I'm grown. It's time for me to be out my parents' house. And she bought her house. She got her house. hmm So nowadays, I see women who own houses. Then I see men going out to buy houses because men don't think about houses until they married. I've only known a couple of them, and that's mainly to turn it around. Buy a house, build it up, sell it, and make money. But then not think of buying a house, keep it, and make it your home. So that when you find a woman, hey, you already got a house. Okay. All right. And who? All right. Now the next set of women whose name I'm talking about. This is through domestic violence. Megan Hockaday, March 28, 2015, Oxnard, California. A police officer fatally shot 26-year-old mother Megan Hockaday when responding to a domestic dispute. Within 20 seconds of entering her home, the officer fatally shot Hockaday, who he claimed was advancing towards him with a knife drawn. Hockaday had 3 young children who were all in the house when the incident occurred. The official investigation in the case is ongoing. Uh
You know,
huh.
I really can't take it anymore. I mean,
Mhm.
this violence towards black women, I think we got it. This
Okay.
violence towards black women is just, it's crazy.
Mhm.
And the thing about it is we need to start doing something about it. We need to start doing something about it. All this fake masculinity. That's another thing. Who says that? I don't know any men that say masculinity. Who talks like that? Yeah, I don't know any dudes be like, man, I'm masculine. I myself have never said that. I'm not. I don't need to say that.
Well, as somebody said, if you got to say you're masculine, then obviously you are not.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've never said that. I've never told anybody, well, I'm masculine. You can see that I'm masculine. I don't need to tell anybody that. I don't understand, man. You know, then they keep using this over and over and over again. And because these guys got a lot of sugar in the tank. You know, these little fairies running around talking about, oh, she masculine. Scared to death of a woman raising her voice. A woman raised her voice, right? They they turn tail and run. How can you ask for a submission and you scared of a woman raising her voice? I mean, let's talk about this, man. You guys can't even take a woman raising her voice. You're scared to death of that. So the woman raised her voice, oh, she masculine. She she's violent. Really? And another thing, getting back to the apartment thing, look, I see cats flexing, right? Talking about, I'm the man of my house. No, you not. That's somebody else's place. You ain't the man of nothing. These guys, you see, the teachings are wrong today. There are no more teachings from the old school. These guys are being taught wrong because they're listening to these so-called fake Macs, reading these Mac books, listening to these fake pimps who are now all of a sudden dating coaches. They don't know anything about women. They're womanizers. They're not going to teach you to love your women. They're not going to teach you to love your children. They're going to teach you the same thing that you're doing now. Being a coward, being disrespectful, not showing any love. You can't sit up here and not show a woman love? Are you crazy? You can't walk around here and don't show black women love and think that they're going to support you or feel good about you or have faith in you. They're women, for crying out loud. Hello?
Yes.
Did I get knocked off?
No. Mm-mm.
Who the hell told you that you can walk around here and not show the black woman any love and she supposed to follow you, she supposed to love you regardless, and she supposed to do all these things for you? You ain't showing her no love. You ain't even making her feel like she's loved. You got other races of men out here doing what you're supposed to do. You got the Chinese man, he done got all into a hair game. And so now you worrying about why the black woman is screaming on you, right? When you coming down to the Chinese place where she get her hair from and getting it between her and her other boyfriend. I said before that the black woman has a couple of boyfriends. Got the black man for babies because he ain't doing nothing else. You got the Chinese man for her hair, and she got the white man for the jobs. So when her and her Chinese boyfriend gets into it, okay, and they have a little issue, and you come down there on some captain, well, I'm going to go down here and jump in. Jump into what? You ain't got no business in that. That ain't got nothing to do with you. That white man got that hair game sold up. I'm sorry, the Chinese man. That's something you should be doing. If your woman is going to wear weave and all that, then you should be the one that have the industry for her to get it from. And not only providing it for her, employing her. When are you going right? When are you going to build places of gainful employment for our women? When are we going to do that? When is that going to happen? I keep hearing y'all talk about, well, the black woman, Zaddy, is providing housing for her. You're damn right. She ain't going to live on the street. What you want her to live on the street, you ain't doing nothing for. You ain't building no housing for her. Talking about what black women bring to the table. You ain't even built the table that you asking her to bring something to. That table belongs to someone else. My thing is, you asking and making all of these demands from a losing position. You're in a losing position. You're at the top of the bottom. You're making all of these demands like you really got it going on. Like you got something to show for. But you don't have nothing. You don't even have no respect. Nobody respects us. You ain't even got that. So what position are you in to make demands? Can't make no demands. Well, okay, what, you got an apartment? That's your bargaining chip? Well, that's not your place. You bargaining somebody else's property. And another thing is, I'm sick and tired of this no value crap. Men don't talk like that. Real men don't talk like, real men don't walk around talking about black women don't have no value. That's that sissy stuff. That's that gay stuff. I ain't never had a conversation with a real brother talking about, hey, you know what? While we sitting there drinking some beer, hey man, you know what? Black women don't have no value. Man, don't nobody talk like that. Don't no real dogs talk like that. That's these sissy bims and these sissies. They talking that craziness. A real man knows what a black woman brings to the table. A real man knows how valuable a black woman is. And the thing about it is they trying to convince us, right, that we should abandon black women. All right? Let's just go on about our way. Let's just leave black women alone. Let's go our own way. Men going their own way. Really? Going your own way where? Where are you going where you can't, where you don't have to deal with this beast? Where are you going? Where you going? Men going their own way. Ridiculous. SYSBM, save yourself, black man. From what? How about save yourself from this beast? The black woman is not who you need to be saving yourself from. You need to be saving her. It should, instead of save yourself, black man, it should be, let's save our women, black men. That's what it should be. Let's save our women, black men. That's what it should be. Not some old punk shit. Let's save yourself, black man. That's some punk shit. Excuse my expression, ladies.
Mm-hmm.
Save yourself, black. Really? Man, what the hell is wrong with the Negroes in this country today? It's like I said to you, Dame, I really feel bad for black women, man. I don't know what y'all gonna do. And I feel so bad because there's only one of me. I wish I could save all of y'all. Okay? But it ain't enough good brothers out here doing anything. There's some out here doing something. This ain't enough. There's just too many corrupted Negroes, these sissies, these gay dudes. This hatred for black women is just too much. But we can't give up, man. Somehow, the brothers who want to do something, who want to protect our women, who love our women, we got to find a way to multiply our numbers. We got to find a way to get together and come up with a plan. We got to multiply our numbers. Because right now, they got numbers against us. There's too many corrupted dudes, effeminate dudes, gay dudes that hate black women. And they are organized. They're unified. It's not enough for us who want to protect our women. We got to find a way to grow our numbers. I yield the mic.
Yeah, y'all need to get together, know how many y'all are, because I think y'all burning out because y'all seen each other. Y'all just seen your individual selves here and there. Okay, so we got Max over here, Hassan over there, Iman Briggs over there, Aaron Collins way over there, a few others here and there. So it seems like there's just maybe a handful of y'all in the whole country, or the whole of YouTube country, or Black YouTube country, when probably there is quite a few of y'all out there, or hey, going about their business, don't know anything that's going on in YouTube, never even heard of it. Because every time I bring it up to some man in the outside world, the first thing they ask, are these dudes gay? What do they mean what black women bring to the table? They don't know, then they gotta be gay. And where is that noise coming from?
I think that may be Abby. Abby, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Chime in, Abby.
I think she sound like all the kids are cutting up.
Uh-oh.
I think she had a football game. Yeah, I think Abby deserves. Oh, wait a minute, that's me. Where's it coming from? Okay, y'all, that is unfortunately me. I had pull up some information. That's that woman that her child was out. There it is. That was the video of the woman whose child was ripped out of her arms because she sat on the floor in the food stamp office and they called the police off of her. I think a lot of y'all remember that. And that was the video. That was the vocal
Another thing,
mm-hmm,
I don't mean to cut you off. Another thing I want to talk about is when we
mm-hmm,
did the series about maximum protection and
mm-hmm,
how we used to protect black women back in the 60s and the 70s. Black women didn't go nowhere by themselves. They always had a male chaperone.
mm-hmm,
Either their brothers or their uncles, or there was a man that was related to them nearby or close to them. I used to have to walk my sisters to the corner store. My
mm-hmm.
father did not send his daughters out without the brothers in tail. We had to walk our sisters to when they was going. My mother was sent to the store. She grabbed one of us. Go walk your sister to the store.
And what I think
That
also
would
is like these men have not been trained. That's
right,
why they are doing these things.
right.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. See, we was trained from the womb, right, Abby? We was
Yeah.
trained from the womb to protect our women and children. We
Yeah.
was trained to be builders. We was trained to be owners. Okay, we was taught ownership. We understand ownership. Yeah, I know I don't own no apartment. That's not a place for me to call a homestead. Now it could be temporary on my way to owning my own home and my own land.
Mm-hmm.
Black man, you need to be out here trying to get your own home and your own land. So you can, when you have your own stuff, then you can properly protect your women and children. Somebody come on your land that you don't want on there, man, you get them guns out and handle it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're protected under the law. So you can properly protect your women and children if you got your own home and your own land. That's what you need to be doing. Instead of sitting up on social media crying like a little girl. You need to be about your business, trying to get some of this wealth out here. Trying to own some of this property. See, you guys got to understand something. When you keep a woman in an environment to where there's a possibility that something can always go wrong, she'll never relax. She'll never be able to be herself. And eventually what's going to happen is that's going to take its toll on her. She's going to start freaking out on you because you're not providing the things that need to be provided so she can be completely secure. Women need to be secure because they are nesters. They raise children. Okay, they run the household. They need to be completely secure. That is your job as a man. You're supposed to bring complete security. You're supposed to create the salubrious environment that your women and children can thrive in. That is what you're supposed to be doing. You're not supposed to have her in a situation where she's constantly worried all the time. She ain't going to be able to relax. She ain't going to be able to stop worrying. She's going to develop high blood pressure and all kinds of stuff, and you're going to start freaking out on you. And all that, man, I'm doing the best I can. That's for weak dudes. Say that argument for teenage boys. As a man, you go out here and you make a way. You don't sit up here and cry talking about, well, I'm doing the best I can. Women talk like that. Men ain't supposed to talk like that. You're supposed to get out here and make a way. No matter how hard it is, you're supposed to be harder. If it's in your way, go through it. You can't go through it, tear it down. Simple. But you're supposed to get out here and make a way. No excuses. I want to hear nothing about, well, I didn't like what she said to me. She had an attitude. So what? Who cares? I yield the mic.
Okay.
No, man, I'm over here just ranting.
Well, yeah, cause I remember hearing um my deacon telling me that he had to go with his sisters. His sisters could not go anywhere if he wasn't
Right.
there. And since a lot of them were older than him, there was like a big gap. There was only two boys in the family, and there was a big gap between them. And the oldest one had already left by the time he came along. So because he was the baby, his daddy gave him instructions of keep them moving. In other
Yup.
words, when they went through time, keep them moving, and they had to stay with
Mhm.
him, or they couldn't stay where they were at if he wasn't there.
Well, you see, well, back then the fathers taught their boys how to fight. We'd be in the basement boxing, lifting weights, getting strong, teach you how to fight. So you knew how to fight. And so fathers raising soldiers, right? So when your sisters had to go out to the market, you went out there with them. And your job was to protect them, to make sure they got to the store safely. And you waited, usually we wait out in front. I can't tell you how many times I met my friends up at the corner store. We out there talking because they walking their sisters to the store. So we out there talking while the girls are in there shopping. Then when they come out, we walk them back home. Our job was to make sure our sisters got to point A and back to the house safely. We need to get back to that. What happened to that? Why do we have little girls outside by themselves with no male chaperone? Where's the protection? Where's the protect? Why are pregnant women being accosted by crazy white men in a Walmart parking lot? Where's the man at? Fortunately, there was a brother that showed up. Remember the situation with the sister in the parking lot of Walmart? Thank God that brother was there.
Yeah.
And you should have heard these sissies talking about because she should have kept her pregnant fat ass in the car.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
What kind of talk is that, man? You don't talk to no woman like that. This woman is with child, man. Have some more respect. You don't talk to them like that. You don't say these kinds of things about them. See, that kind of shit right there resonates with black women. When they hear shit like that, they think you don't love them. They remember shit like that. Shit like that stick in their damn mind. You don't talk like that. You don't say, well, she should have got her fat ass. First of all, she ain't fat. She's pregnant. She's carrying a human being inside her, bro. Have some damn respect. But see, they can get away with saying shit like that on social media. It won't say that. I'm telling y'all.
No.
And you ask my boy Hassan. I'm telling y'all what I know. These cats wouldn't run their mouth like that in real time around real men. I'm telling you. A lot of them wouldn't have no teeth or worse. But they can get on here, these little YouTube gangsters, these YT gangsters, they can get on here and be tough Tony and say crazy things about black women. You don't call no pregnant woman with child a fat ass. That's disrespectful, man. Have some class. I yield the mic. Oh, and one more thing. I heard some fool talking about, well, he threatened to leave his woman because she put on some weight after she had the baby. So you're going to tell me this woman just put her life on the line, and understand, women can die giving birth. Very easily.
Yeah.
And that's something that they know going in, and they're still willing to meet that challenge with no fear. They're fearless. They meet that challenge with no fear. They know very well that they can die. But the love for the child in them is greater than their own life. So they're willing to take that chance. So you niggas who talking all of this stuff, at one time, your mother loved your life more than she loved her own. Because she was willing to die to bring you into this world. Fully understand that The slightest little thing could go wrong, she can lose her life.
Mm-hmm.
But was willing to do that to bring you into this world. And then you can't even respect the fact that we have pregnant women. You can't even respect a pregnant woman. You're going to say, you're going to call your woman all kinds of names after she just brought a beautiful child into this world for you. So what? She put on a few pounds. So what? She just had a baby. Well, you need to lose weight. You wouldn't like that when I met you, nigga. And y'all wondering why black women took that poll and said that they'd rather be under white supremacy than under a black rule. You're wondering why.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying stupid shit like that, but you wondering why the black women feel the way they feel. And why they don't have no faith in us. You can't even respect a pregnant woman. Yo, she put on some weight. She wouldn't like that when I met her. That's what these guys say.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave her an ultimatum. If she don't lose weight, I'm leaving. So, wait a minute. Let me get this right. So all you care about is her putting on a few pounds. You don't care about her, and you don't care about the baby. So you want to walk away from her and your child over a few pounds? And you're wondering why black women don't have any faith in us anymore. You're wondering why they don't want to listen to us. You're wondering why they don't have no respect for us. No other race of men would do something like that. I yield the mic.
Yeah, and speaking of talking about women who in life be in danger giving birth, part of the problem is the stress of being in the environment we have. We're at risk for high blood pressure, and then you add pregnancy to it. Then because we're
Okay,
not
dang.
valued, huh?
I'm sorry. We're on that 2 hour mark.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. All right then. Well, then I just save this topic for another time. But pretty much that these bias and perception of us, it extends more than just with the police. It extends into the medical, into our children. We'll I'll come back and do a part two to this, and we will finish up with the medical and our children aspect of this. All right. So, all right. Yeah. Let's have a good night, everybody. I'll catch y'all next week, and I'll let y'all know when we do a part two to this. Okay.
Peace, power, and unity.
Yes. Peace, power, and unity. Ebony Star Network.